What is your favorite race in the Zelda universe? Only sentient races.
That one is a toughie for me. Hmm. Well, I am a big fan of the Zora tribe, all of their different incarnations. Not so much for I can't remember the race, but the bird people from Wind Waker. Not necessarily. Their society was okay. The Goron tribe is always a ton of fun to be around. I also like the Deku tribe, or in the Deku Kingdom in Majora's Mask. I like those fellows as well. But I would have to go a little bit more towards Zora because I don't know. I've always been kind of a swimmer myself, so I really enjoy their designs that they have for them. The kind of half fish, half people with the big like tails on the back of their heads. Just a real fun design.
What do you think of each of the sages from Ocarina of Time?
The leader of the sages, Princess Zelda, was very crafty in disguising herself as Sheik to avoid Ganondorf's evil eye or people searching out for her. The Sage of Light, the first one that you first meet, Raul. Raul? Raul? Not really much say for him. There wasn't really anything really to him. Saria, I cried a little when Link left her on the bridge right there. That was a little emotional. Darunia, the Sage of Fire. Very fun character. I really enjoyed his dancing. The Sage of Water, Princess Ruto, I had a little bit of a crush on. A little creepy, I know. Sage of Shadow, Impa. Didn't really get much from her. She didn't really have that much of a personality. Sage of Spirit, Naburu, also had kind of a little bit of a crush. Was an early bloomer. Yeah, 7 sages.
Do you think that the overworld from Skyward Sword could have worked had the game been much longer and bigger?
Yeah, I do wish that Skyward Sword was a little bigger. The overworld I didn't have too much of a problem with. For the amount of time that we spent on the game, it was fine for what it was. Again, my biggest beef was that I wish that some of the side quests had more of a end to them, that there's a little bit more resolution to them, like the woman cleaning service, the hand in the toilet having kind of a a kind of a strange fixation with that little tubby guy. But yeah, I didn't have too much of a problem with the overworld.
What is your favorite sword design in the series, not including the Master Sword or its different stages?
I personally like the Great Fairy Sword myself. I just kind of love the design of it, the intricacy inside the blade with the type of vine work going on in there and the pinkish reddish hue or the light red hue on the edge of the sword. So yeah, I like the Great Fairy Sword.
One Piece. What is your least favorite arc, and which is your favorite arc?
Now, I remind everyone again that at this moment I am watching the anime series and not really reading the manga because I watch it with my little brother. It's kind of a tradition that we have. So I'm not as far along as some other people might be. My least favorite arc from One Piece, I have to say it would be this current arc that we are in, the undersea Mermaid Island arc. I don't know. I know what this arc is supposed to be. It's supposed to show how far our characters have grown, and there are some moments in it that I really personally enjoy. It made me really appreciate Brooks' character, for example, and is slowly making him to be one of my favorites of the crew. But overall, it doesn't really have too much going for it. A lot of miscommunications, a lot of misunderstandings going on, which I don't really like all too much. As for my favorite arc, that's a little bit harder to narrow down. Um, oh, what the hell? I'm gonna have to say the Foxy arc, dealing with the Foxy Pirates, is my personal favorite one because it's just a very fun arc in and of itself. I don't know if it was in the manga. I think it was, but there was a lot at stake in that arc, like the possibility of losing the Straw Hat crew members like Chopper and Robin. I mean, that was scary for a moment because this was going under the pirate code of honor. So yeah, I like the Foxy arc. Actually, if I could, I think I'd want to revise my answer to that previously. Thinking about it a little bit more and talking with Nick, I've decided that I think my least favorite arc would probably have to be the War of the Best, the arc where they went to rescue Ace. That was one, like, being reminded of it, really was a drag when it really came down to it. Not a lot happened in every episode that led up to it. Yes, there were some like outstanding moments, like two in particular that come to mind. But overall, not much really to that one. And as for my favorite one, thinking about it again, I don't remember the name of it, but it's the arc where the Straw Hat crew goes to rescue Robin from the clutches of, I think it was this Navy organization or whatever. But yeah, the one where Usopp appears as Sogong King. I think that was the same like kind of arc tie-in arc that also related back to the Waterworld arc, or the water place where they met Frankie. But I really like that one because there is a lot of emotion riding in this arc. It's to show our characters that they still have a long ways to go if they ever hope to, like, make it in this wide open world of One Piece, as well as like fighting among each other. The big, oh my god, the big moment where like Usopp and Luffy fight. I mean, that was emotional torture right there because I love both of those characters. But yeah, I would have to say the Robin rescue arc is one of my favorites because it's so emotional.
What is your favorite DF? Devil fruit.
Oh boy, dude. There are so many devil fruit powers out there that it's hard to keep track of them all. If I were to like say some that come to my mind, I like Robin's devil fruit power. I like Brooks. I think it was dead fruit power. I like the lightning power. I like the gum power. And I would like to know how the dog fruit power was able to be transferred to a gun. How does a gun eat a fruit? That's what I would like to know.
Do you think Roger had a devil fruit ability? And if yes, what category? And if Logaya, what element?
Not enough information at this moment to figure out exactly if he had a devil fruit power, and if so, what kind of devil fruit power he had. So I don't know. How about he had the God fruit power? I honestly don't know, and I don't really care. I'll find out when the time comes.
Do you have any prediction on what D stands for?
I think the D stands for Daniel, only because I'm a little self-centered like that.
Do you have any thoughts on why Whitebeard didn't just settle down and make a family the traditional way?
You gotta think about the time period in which Whitebeard lived in. It was a time when, like, there was a lot of people out there who, like, lost families due to, like, pirate invasions or bandits running amok in towns, parents dying, children crying, and it's up to Whitebeard to gather up all the lost children and create a family for them, a place for them to belong. And that is why I believe that Whitebeard didn't try to make a family the more traditional route. I'm sure he could have. But I think it was this way that makes him all the more awesome.
Shaman King. Are you reading the new monthly sequel to the original Shaman King Flowers? And if so, what is your opinion of it so far?
Don't mind the noise in the background. The NPC is just playing a game. Hi, NPC. Silent Hill. Anyways, this is actually the first time I heard about Shaman King Flowers, and I don't know anything about it, so I can't really answer this question. Sorry.
Who was your favorite spirit?
I like that one spirit. I can't remember his name. I think it was Gecko, maybe? It was some sort of reptilian name. He was kind of the spirit with like the long ass pointy head and the big scraggly spider like dreadlocks that was like the spirit to the Yakuza wannabe guy that had the amazing pompadour that later turned it into a reverse double edged pompadour. How does that work? I don't know. I don't care. I like it.
Who was your favorite living character?
Again, it's been a while since I've seen Shaman King, so I'm a little fuzzy on names here, but I really liked that necromancer doctor. I really loved his characteristics, the whole shot up with so much morphine that he can just fall from an airplane, splat all on the ground, and somehow able to stitch himself back together with the help of his deceased wife. That and he has that lovely relationship with his deceased wife, which I think that is so sweet right there.
What is your opinion of Yo's father? Did you like him, or did you find him a sexist jackass like me?
I don't remember Yo's father, but probably was a sexist jackass. I just don't remember, and that was my phone. Hello?
Question. This might seem somewhat stupid or rude to ask of you, but since you are far away the best manga expert that would ever respond to me, I want to ask you for your opinion on the premises of 3 webcomics I'm trying to make. What I want is your opinion of which of these 3 premises seem to have the best, middle, and worst potential to you. Which of these that you think would be the easiest, in terms of doing it with regular releases, to do, which you think would succeed the most with, and finally, I want your opinion on which of these 3 you think has the most intriguing plot and characters. Idea 1. A 2D side-scrolling, not overhead, sprite comic set in the One Piece universe. The protagonist is a veteran shipwright from a previous crew, similar to Buggy and Shanks, that's trying to make his own crew to fulfill his goal of becoming the strongest man in the world. Said shipwright will be a classical example of a blood knight, though quite a bit more thoughtful than, say, Kenpachi from Bleach. It will be set 1 to 2 years before Roger's death, and will follow the canon of the manga as strongly as possible.
Alright, one thing though, I don't think a 2D side-scrolling sprite comic is really the right type of format that you should go for something involving in the One Piece universe. With the One Piece universe, I imagine something more expansive, showing the grandeur and the great adventure on the horizon, and a 2D sprite side-scroller isn't really doing that for me. Now, the only sprite comic that I've ever read was the 8-Bit Theater's, Nick, what was that one with the Final Fantasy characters?
I don't know the specific title of it was.
It was from 8-Bit Theater, so it was that, whichever one it was. That's the only one I have reference to, and that one was played off as a comedy, which worked to its advantage even though it was just plain sprites. Now, for something like One Piece, I'm just going to tell you right here, man, I'm not really fond of the idea of taking writing stories in someone else's canon. If you want to do your comics, you should do it in your own stories. But I will try not to judge for this one at least. All right, if you want to do it, I would say try a different style than the sprites because One Piece deserves something a little bit more expansive than just a flat 2D plane.